So I talk about something called non-duality. What is non-duality? Non-duality to me is the most amazing subject you'll ever hear. I totally am in love with the subject and I'm so completely passionate about it. In fact, it makes me want to cry. Just even bringing up the subject. So non-duality to me is the only way out of suffering in this life. There is no other way out of suffering. I think that therapy is useful, and if you're experiencing lots of emotional discomfort in your life, I recommend it. And I think understanding humans and understanding what you want and understanding your past and understanding your conditioning is so beneficial and can really help balance out the person. But I still think even if you do that for years and years and years, if you haven't come across non-duality, then there's always going to be a restlessness in you, because you're always going to wonder what this life is about, and there's always going to be the fear that one day you're going to die. So non-duality is the remembering of who you truly are. Non-duality isn't making you a perfectly balanced character, or isn't fixing the character necessarily. It's remembering who you are right here, right now. And I don't mean remembering who you are on the human level. I mean remembering who you are beyond the human. Hello. Hello, my love. It's remembering the source of life. Those big questions that you've always had about what the nature of reality is or why you're alive. There is actually an answer, but the answer isn't in thinking. And this is absolutely baffling to humans, because to us, to humanity, currently at the moment, thinking is king. Thinking rules this world. And non-duality is about what thinking arises and disappears in. What life appears and disappears in. Non-duality is remembering who you truly are, who you've always been, before you learn all the stuff about non-duality or being a person or beauty or ugliness or money or poverty, rightness, wrongness, good, bad, light, dark. Non-duality is what's there prior to you growing into being the human you are now. It's been there the whole time. And it's pointing to that which is experiencing beyond who you think you are. And that who's experiencing beyond who you think you are is a stillness. Something that cannot be lost. And on the other side of this stillness, on the manifest side of the stillness, on the everything side of the stillness, it is love. And it's not separated from anything. This stillness which is experiencing itself now, that does not move, is equally everything that does move and it does perceive. So this is remembering of something that's right here. It's not even a remembering, because that's our human concepts, because who would remember? It's a seeing. I'll just call it remembering for simplicity's sake. A seeing that who you are never moved. The world came and went in who you were, but who you were never moved and was never really affected, is never born and never dies. And the character is affected by life. The character likes things and doesn't like things and is hurt and learns about itself and grows. But who you truly are is never affected. So right now, who's experiencing this life? Who's hearing these words? Who's looking at my face? There is a person that might be saying, I'm looking. I like her, I don't like her. I want to ask a question, I don't want to ask a question. But notice that that person's being experienced. That person isn't the experiencer. There is something that knows that. That person comes and goes. It changes its mind, it changes its personality, it changes its ways. That comes and goes, but who you are, who you truly are, never comes and goes and never leaves. And the mind tries to look and think, who's she talking about? And that mind that's trying to look and think is being experienced. It's appearing in the experiencer, in this alive presence. And when I say the alive presence, what I mean is this sense of I am before you are someone. So that sense that you exist, of existence, and that empty looking, that consciousness. And this consciousness and this I am have two sides. This nothing side, the nothingness side, and the everything side. And they say the I am is the everything and the empty looking is the nothing. And everything comes from the no thing, which is equally everything. They are not separate from each other. So everything is from nothing and nothing is from everything. I know this seems like it's so totally confusing and mind acrobats, but that one that feels like, what is she talking about, is being experienced, and that's the freedom. And maybe you're feeling emotions in the body that are appearing, and your emotions will be dependent on your personality structure. So if your personality often feels disempowered or like it doesn't understand, then those feelings will come up. It will think, I don't understand, I don't get this, I'll never get this. But notice that that's being experienced, and that there can be being a lostness in all those feelings because they're believed to be true. But see that they're being seen, and that's the freedom. And the mind is like, why is that freedom? Blah, 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 blah. But that empty looking that's experiencing that mind is the place of rest. It's absolute rest. And what I'm speaking about is an energetic movement back to that, which is this energetic movement from being a contracted, separate individual to this boundless aliveness, alive presence. And that person arises in it rather than that person is the experiencer. So that's the movement. And know that I can never quite get it right in words, and there's not someone else that can get it right in words either. It just cannot be accurately talked about. It's impossible. Words cannot describe this because words are duality, and what I'm trying to point to is non-duality. Okay.